If I can now invite Angela Giorgio from the Commission and Claire as from CA and our project coordinator to have a bit of a discussion on what the next steps could potentially be for this project. So please take a seat.
Thank you, Jessica. As I discussed with some of you during the lunch break, I will here give some information regarding what we foresee regarding the funding. So we expect at the Euratom Research to have the next call public in January 2026. As you know, our funding is really limited. We have 50 million euros per year circa to fund all Euratom activities that now have to take into account the partnerships. The partnerships are a new mean of funding research implemented by the Commission that delegated for some research topics to a consortia composed of member states named entities the responsibility of implementing the scientific and administrative operation of the calls. So these partnerships are for fusion, Eurofusion, then for radiation protection, Pianoforte, and I'm the project officer from Pianoforte. Then for the rad waste, we have EURAD, and then we have for the materials, Connect-NM. So these partnerships will run their own calls, open to whomsoever may be concerned in the European Union. And these are funded also, co-funded by the Commission. In parallel to this, we still run the conventional competitive call for projects. And we expect indicatively to have a budget that indicatively will possibly cover a limited number of projects, most probably a couple on light water and a couple of on advanced modular reactors relevant to the safety, because our mandate is to fund the research via the indirect action on the safety of nuclear installations, either the existing ones, so the long-term operation, or the installations that could come in the interested member states in the medium, short term. So we expect the light water SMRs, or in the longer term, the advanced modular reactors. And we have to cover all these activities. So the project to me was, Tandem was really successful and addresses a topic that is more than relevant for the future promised role of nuclear. That is not only to produce electricity, but also to produce process heat and district heating in order to help to achieve the green goals of the Union, and also to be a chance to foster our EU industrial competitiveness. So the budget is expected to be similar to the ones that has been in the years. So no, 3-4 million euros is what we can afford to have. Of course, I fully understand it will be even more competitive, because the number of projects that we will be able to fund will be limited. And this is the information I can provide now. For the realistic short term, so the period, the extension of our work program 2026-2027 being public, the call January 2026. For the longer term, maybe you heard this new approach that is considered in the Commission to have a push in startups and industrial activities, also to build on the research that has been funded for years, and our commissioner publicly mentioned that she considered possibly an option to have a higher funding of the European Innovation Council that now has a success rate of 4%. And she was arguing if it could be the case to increase or double, triple the funding there in order to boost the competitiveness of our industry. But this is still to be decided at the highest political level and in the longer term after 2028 for the, let's say, FP10. And I will now give the floor to the coordinator that I thank for the excellent way in which the project was managed, and I'm here to answer to any question you may have.
Thank you very much, Angel Giorgio, for sharing this information. We are all waiting for the first draft, at least, of the call. So thank you very much for giving information. Jessica, do you want to take question at the end, or yes?
I mean, does anyone have any questions or are there comments that they would already like to raise or make? Yep.
Thank you. I'm representing Hydrogen Europe Research as a president, and we are part of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership. I've seen that there's an increasing interest not only inside this project, but in a more wider context of coupling hydrogen and SMRs in particular. So I'm wondering if there could be an interest in searching for synergies between Euratom and the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, and maybe finding common priorities that could fall in either one call or another.
Yes, thank you for this question. Of course, we more than welcome this kind of synergies, and we have been pushing for them. For a series of reasons, Euratom has been separated from, let's say, Horizon Europe. First, from a legal point of view, the legal basis of Euratom is different. It's a different treaty, so we have a different scheme. And in order to cope with the 7 years frame of our bigger brother, let's say the Horizon, we have the 5+2. So I was explaining before the +2 that we will be funding. And we noticed that in the recent years there is this new attitude towards us, towards nuclear, and so we more than welcome this kind of synergies. And we also invite the members of the consortium to look at the other calls that are not specifically nuclear, but could be of their interest for the means that have been developed and for the studies that have been built on nuclear in order to fund also additional sources of funding that could also be coupled. In our work program, we always put a line where we suggest to have these synergies, and we ask also to our colleagues to mention the possibility of having synergies with the Euratom. We hope, like you mentioned, that in the future this will become more a standard. Now it's almost an exception, but of course it's should be the way to go, because now nuclear is fully recognized as a mean to achieve the climate goals, the greening on one hand, and another one is fully recognized as an important mean to boost the European competitiveness. So it's considered as in the Draghi report and on the policy of the Commission as a mean to achieve at the same time these two goals. So cooperation is more than welcome.
Yes, even considering that the GRTD is commonly present in Euratom and the Clean Hydrogen Partnership, last week we appointed Joanna Drake as Vice Chair of the Clean Hydrogen Partnership.
Yes.
So this could be beneficial as well. And I think starting discussion maybe in the next coming months could be even beneficial, considering that probably after mid of July, there will be a more in-depth discussion even on the next MFF and the relationship between FP10 and other programs and the European Competitiveness Fund.
Yes, absolutely. Joanna Drake is our DDG and is also acting as director of our directorate, and she will also chair a panel in the SMR's Industrial Alliance. So she's fully involved, and we should use this opportunity to boost these synergies.
Any other? So that's again a question from online from Michael Futter from GRC. Is it envisaged to share the outcomes from Tandem with relevant groups at the IAEA, OECD, NEA, and GIF?
Oh, yes, of course, we have been publicizing our projects with these international organizations with which we have continuous cooperation activity. And we also asked the Tandem coordinator to publicize in the different fora our activities. We have an ongoing cooperation, like Mark knows, with both the NEO-OECD on SMRs and with the IAEA on SMRs. Myself, Mark, and also Professor Ricotti are part of this cooperation. And so our projects have also to be used in this trilateral cooperation between the Commission, Euratom Research, IAEA, and NEO-OECD. Absolutely.
Perfect. So I propose maybe we head over to you then, Claire, for some next steps.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. The idea now is just to give a short introduction and to start the discussion with you, I would say, about what's next, what is possible, and what could be suggested for future projects and the initiatives, not only in the framework of Euratom, I would say. First, of course, there will be a next call in 2026, so why not? We will see, but also in other initiatives, we keep open to the different call for projects. So it's just the idea just to give some insight about thoughts we had internally with some people. I would say the core group of the Tandem project. First, what we can say is that by providing feasibility studies for the integration of SMRs into hybrid energy systems, Tandem paves the way for the credibility of hybrid energy systems integrating SMRs and also AMRs at a local scale. We need to change our mind. We do not provide only electricity with SMRs. We are not direct. The objective is not to be connected directly to the grid, to the national grid, and to provide electricity. There are other purposes with SMRs integration. And given the urgency of achieving net zero targets and answering new energy challenges driven by the international geopolitical context, it's now time to turn the integration of SMRs and AMRs in hybrid energy systems into reality, while ensuring the competitiveness of the technologies implemented in hybrid energy systems and speeding up their deployment through digitalization. Achieving this goal requires to tackle several R&D and technical issues, enabling for fostering cross-sectorial collaborations between nuclear and renewable communities. And it's very important for us, for the Tandem team, to keep open. To keep open to renewables, to keep open to other low carbon solutions for energy production, but also to keep open for non-nuclear technology and to try to work together. Considering the end of Tandem, we already had some discussion, some very preliminary discussion with Angel Giorgio last year, sharing some ideas, and that's why the project, the Tandem team decided to prepare a letter, thinking about different possible technical axes to be studied in a follow-up. So we sent this letter to Angel Giorgio for the European Commission, but we shared also this idea with the European Industries Alliance on SMRs. Because we think that it's very important to share this kind of ideas. If we have to propose some other initiatives, we need to be aligned with their needs, of course. So what you can see on this slide is the 4 technical axes that were defined in the framework of this reflection and in the framework of the preparation of this mail. We can also discuss about other ideas, technical ideas. For instance, Shannon asked the question about validation of the Tandem library. We also discussed benchmarking of tools. We know that it's very important to show that different well-known tools are aligned in the results that they can provide. Coming back to the 4 technical axes that we propose, but the first one is to work on the definition of low carbon energy systems, integrating SMRs and AMRs for the decarbonization of a rural industrial energy hub in Europe. And then I insist in phase on rural industrial energy hub. For Tandem, we worked on a virtual case because at this time, real data were not available. So we would like to be in touch with industrials and to get at least a part of this data, for instance, data coming from a real harbor somewhere in Europe. We know that this data can be sensitive, but we even maybe we can find a solution to manage this point and to get a part of the data and not all the data. So if you know industrials who would be interested in sharing this kind of data, feel free to put in touch these people with us. The idea also is to study a case with a higher complexity than the Tandem one. We work on the energy hub, setting up a load for hydrogen production for electricity. Stephanie presented the results and presented also the different pathways run in per se in Kern. The introduction of the variation of the share for the renewables introduction, nuclear introduction also, and I think these results are very interesting. And now we would like to be very convincing with provided a real case and a more complex case. The second point is about safety demonstration and regulatory framework for hybrid energy systems integrating SMRs and AMRs. As we saw today, we had a lot of questions about the regulatory framework, the security framework, safety in general, what kind of policy brief we should provide, what kind of technical recommendations study also in order to go beyond tandem results. We only focused on the coupling and the configuration required by the coupling between SMRs and non-nuclear applications. We need to go further, maybe to study the implementation, the site layout directly in an industrial area by also assessing EPZ, the emergency planning zone. We should maybe also address hydrogen risk and also the methodology to assess this hydrogen risk, which is not so simple, in fact, and also to facilitate the regulatory framework, I would say. At our stage, it's a bit difficult really to have a wide action in order to get uniformization for the regulatory framework, but at least we can facilitate and put in contact regulatory bodies from the nuclear side, but also the non-nuclear side. The third point is about the development of the SMR balance of plant design. We did not work on design in tandem. It was a choice. We wanted to focus on something else. Maybe in future initiatives, it can be time for studying innovative cycles, for optimizing cogeneration, efficiency, for working on more advanced BOP models, ranking cycle in particular, the usual conversion cycle, which is considered in PDO world reactor, is ranking cycle. So we can imagine to work on the development of models of this kind of cycles, and also to work on validation using data coming from the existing nuclear fleet. The last point is about experimental consideration. We would like to provide a first step towards a demonstrator of hybrid energy systems in Europe. We would like to set up an experimental facility. We could consider at this stage a demonstrator that would rely on a high-speed connection by optic fiber between energy sources, potentially coupled with energy storage systems and with an industrial application. Some components of the hybrid energy system, some component of the hybrid energy system demonstrator would be real, for instance, renewable sources, the industrial application, which could be a high temperature stream electrolyzer. Other components could be numerical. I think in particular about SMR. We could imagine to couple to this experimental facility SMR simulator. And the various components would be controlled through a SCADA, a supervisory control and data acquisition. So it's really a first idea to go beyond tandem for exploring other technical axes.
Thank you very much, Claire. We have 5 minutes left. Who would like to share their thoughts on these proposals? I see hands going up. Okay. If we can go for like an MEP 1 minute statement, that would be great.
Not to be answered now, but don't forget non-technical issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm nuclear physicist and It's a bit, you're right. You're fully right. Thank
How
you.
could we deal with these technical areas with the statement of our officer that the call will be focused on safety? Nasty question, I know.
It's a nice fight. It's a very interesting question. Thank you, Stefano. We know that safety is very important. As we saw today, we had a lot of discussion and question about safety. So of course we have to address this point in a new project, in a new Euratom project, for instance, knowing, however, that from the technical point of view, regarding the coupling, we think that there is no challenge associated with cogeneration as it has been explained. So maybe the next challenge is about the regulatory framework and how we can facilitate the discussion between regulatory body for nuclear and regulatory bodies for non-nuclear. For instance, we can also work on hydrogen risk assessment. It is not a pure study dedicated to nuclear. It's because it goes beyond, and it could be in Horizon Europe. But why not? We can try to address this point. But clearly. Safety, in my opinion, is not a challenge for hybridization beyond the regulatory framework.
Well, we've discussed quite a lot of all the different options. My personal point of view is just heading to the, let's say, the open door that we got from non-nuclear sector, if I can say so. My personal belief is that if we want to look at a follow-up of this project, we need to go beyond the usual nuclear sector. And of course, it's like hitting an open door because it's so obvious. But I think that all the effort, the topics that I see there are, to be honest, more focused on hybrid energy systems than nuclear, to be honest. And so I do recognize that if we stick to Euratom, and of course we just have the question about how to stick with the safety point, perhaps it's not the good approach for that, and perhaps should we, but it's again a wishful thinking, try to extend the topics that we see there and try to find synergies in other projects like Horizon Europe projects, and I would like perhaps to go further on discussions on how could we build. And I know by experience it's not very easy because we've been trying many times to knock the doors of the other, let's say, types of technologies like renewables and so on. And so far we did not get enthusiastic answers, I would say, in integrating nuclear. Nuclear is some kind of a bad word that nobody wants to have nuclear in the project. So I think that we should personally work on how to extend the interest on working on those type of topics beyond the nuclear world.
Not just to complete what you say, Christophe. There is several projects, Horizon Europe project, dedicated on all this projection and modelization for the grid and flexible and grid with energy and a lot of different type of energy. So maybe it could be also a means for us if we want to go further on the objective one, for example, to have a contact with this project in order to know how they modelize, how they're taking account of all the flexibility, all the different energy in order to integrate all the energy, because I know that they are already working in order to, and they integrate the nuclear in their modelization, they integrate the heat, they also integrate the fusion because they made projection to 2060. So it could be a means for us as nuclear people to maybe try to bring to go further in the discussion.
Claire, do you have any comments on that? Or?
No, I'm full. Christophe at least know that I fully align that we should go beyond Euratom. Ideally integrating nuclear in Horizon Europe, or at least proposing something without the nuclear brick, and to have a twin project in Euratom, adding the nuclear considerations.
My colleague talk about the new call will deal with nuclear safety. I am co-chair of implementation group 10 nuclear safety. And it is the only field of nuclear which is recognized up to now to a European Convention. 3 years ago, we have proposed to change the nuclear safety to nuclear power. And I think it is the time, or I think it's time to change the nuclear safety to nuclear power and solve also this limitation, be focused only on nuclear safety and deal with the nuclear power as a clear source for electricity and heat and so on. Thank you. It's a proposal for you.
Thank you for this proposal that can be, of course, shared. We have to remember that the European Treaty requires the unanimity of all the member states in order to have any act passed. So also in order to not to please, but to take in due consideration the position of the member states that are not interested in nuclear, the Commission highlighted the fact that in the general interest of all the European citizens, because the nuclear release has no frontier, and in the interest of the member states that choose nuclear in their energy mix, our research activity has the mandate to focus on the safety that is the core of the activity, that doesn't impede, of course, to have ancillary activities like were mentioned, from economic studies to further deployment, always considering safety, that I would say in any case is the prerequisite for nuclear, because you need the licensing, you have to prove the safety case. So when in nuclear you say safety, you mention also, a prerequisite to have the realization of any nuclear installation. But anyway, thank you for your comment that we note and we take in due consideration.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. I see people are gradually starting to head out of the room. Presumably they have trains to catch. For those of you who are project partners, and as a reminder, we will have the dinner this evening, so I think we can probably continue this conversation over the dinner. The dinner for the partners is at 6:30 here in the restaurant 12. And I think with that, a very big thank you to both of you for our final intervention. A big thank you to all of you for being here today, for bearing with us even when the air conditioning cut out. But I think an especially big thank you to Claire. Claire has been our project coordinator. She's kept us all on track and all in line throughout pretty much the 3 years of this project. So the project is due to end in August. So I really do think she deserves a big round of applause for all her hard work. Thank you.